citizens. This is Shane, the Hurricane Helms, and you're watching PWR on My 24 Milwaukee. And if you're not, what's up with that?
This week on the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Television, we have a full review of the week in wrestling, looking at Raw, SmackDown, and WWE Hell in a Cell, along with the latest TNA news, part 2 of our interview with Bobby Lashley, former ECW champion, and we go in-depth on Randy Orton. How do you rebuild Randy Orton? All of that in this week's Star of the Week, coming up right here, right now on PWR Primetime on My 24 Milwaukee. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Saturday night. Damian Nelson sitting alongside David Octavius Tiberius, the alleged backyard one-time Knockouts Divas champion.
You moved
Hall
it.
of Famer. When I moved.
It has been hanging there for the past several months. Now it's complete. There's no more mic drop?
No. That's been cut. Private sector's going to handle that.
Oh, is it? You are such a toolbox.
Let's go to this week's
Big Bird Marty.
Let's go to this week's WWE news, ladies and gentlemen, and let's start by talking about this past Sunday's WWE Hell in a Cell, where a brand new World Heavyweight Champion was crowned in The Big Show, defeating Sheamus. No cash-in from Dolph Ziggler.
Well, of course he's not going to cash in against The Big Show, the largest man on the planet, largest wrestler on the planet. Great match. Sheamus and Big Show beat each other up. Knockout punches, bro kicks. Sheamus elevated his game with the Big Show. And for those that were not enthused about that match, that may have been match of the night. Those guys absolutely could go.
We talked about that on our post show, our radio post show, available at pwrshow.com after Hell in a Cell this past Sunday night on pay-per-view, and we disagree on this particular matchup. I didn't think it was as strong as you think it was, which is fine, but it definitely ended tremendously.
We don't disagree. You're just wrong. That's what it comes down to. You know, it told a story from beginning to end.
I'm wrong because my opinion is different? What are you, one of the commenters?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
You're a ghost writer, aren't you? You go on there, you put comments on the YouTube channel, don't you?
They call me Casper. Absolutely. Here's the thing, homie. They told a story. They told a story. Listen, ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Knock it off, all right? They told a great story. Both guys. At one point, you thought Sheamus was going to win. You thought he was going to retain. And then all of a sudden, Big Show, lands the weapon of mass destruction.
Twice. It took two.
And it had to take two to beat him. Because if it's just once, then Sheamus, as a strong champion, is no more. But I'm looking forward to the rematch at Survivor Series.
And a shenanigans-filled matchup, Hell in a Cell, the only Hell in a Cell matchup on the pay-per-view, CM Punk versus Ryback. The referee gives Ryback a low blow, fast count on Punk. Punk retains the WWE Championship Sunday in Atlanta.
Terrible.
Terrible why? Because you were wrong?
You know what? It's not.
You sat here in that very chair and you said that, and this is where you were actually wrong, because you were telling superstars, you were telling everybody who'd listen, Ryback is going to win at Hell in a Cell. Ryback is going to beat Punk. Ryback is going to be the new WWE champion. Did you or did you not?
It's not so much that I was wrong as that I was mistaken.
And I'm looking through my dictionary here, and it does. Oh, those mean the same thing.
You got your dictionary in your hand? Not really. Listen, at the end of the day, they made a humongous mistake. Okay, the match was not good. It wasn't a CM Punk type match, and yeah, you know what? Ryback probably is not ready for a world title reign. Absolutely, probably is not. And you know what?
Is that the flip or the flop you're doing right now?
I'm just presenting the facts and opinions to the masses. That's why they tune in. They want to hear what we got to say.
They tune in to see what color tie I'm wearing.
What is that? Chartreuse? Anyways, with Ryback, it seemed like nothing happened. Yeah, it was a low blow. He threw Punk around the cage quite a bit. Punk got a few shots in. I love the cutoff with the fire extinguisher. That made the most sense of the entire match. But a low blow, and yes, the crown jewels, the family jewels, is something you do not want to play with. I get that. But this is a guy that has beaten 2 men, 3 men, put humongous guys on his shoulders, and he's been unstoppable. For a referee,
Brad Maddox.
For Brad Maddox
we saw
to come along, Brad Maddox wrestling fans beat Ryback, a guy that has never been a pro wrestler. For those of you, hold on, for those of you that criticized Kevin Nash when he ended Goldberg's streak, this was a far bigger atrocity.
You ever hear that song, "You Spin Me Right Round, Baby, Right Round Like an Aeroplane"? Flo Rida did it most recently.
Isn't that Gangman song, whatever?
No.
Gangnam
Style.
That too. Yes, yes.
Hell in a Cell this past Sunday night. Most of you said it was a failing show. As a matter of fact, 73% of our audience on Twitter said that the show was deserving of a failing grade.
You know what? I liked most of it except for the main event. And it's not because I predicted said Ryback would win. It's just, it was so flat.
It was a 3-hour Raw. All of that happened on that pay-per-view could have happened within the confines of a Monday Night Raw. And then it wouldn't have even been special, aside from the championship changing
hands. And you know
hands.
what? I'm kind of feeling the same way right now about Survivor Series as to how they built Raw up to that final segment.
Well, the Survivor Series main event was indeed set this past Monday night on Raw. Mick Foley making a return to WWE, and it will be Team Punk going up against Team Foley. And comprising Team Punk will be The Miz, endorsed, Cody Rhodes, endorsed, Damian Sandow, and Alberto Del Rio, along with CM Punk. Over on the Team Foley side of things, it's going to be Kofi.
Stop. What is so special about that team?
Well, Cody and The Miz are on it.
No,
Damian
seriously.
Sandow. ADR is going to bring it down.
Take your boy crushes aside and tell me what is special about that team. Why would you want to buy that pay-per-view to watch that?
Mick Foley's involvement obviously is going to play a role as he will be leading the opposing team.
I am a Mick Foley guy, former GLCW champion, Mick Foley, Cactus Jack, I get that. But go ahead, announce the babyface team.
The other team, ladies and gentlemen, the good guys, if you will, in the Survivor Series matchup will be Kofi Kingston, Kane, Daniel Bryan, Ryback, and Randy Orton. It's a pretty solid team.
So what they've done is they've taken all the singles matches that they've had over the last several weeks, and now they put them all in a big tag team match.
Isn't that what the Survivor Series traditionally was? Because it was a continuation pay-per-view.
Yeah, but there was also, what was cool about the Survivor Series back in the day when it was, you know, the legendary classic one, is you would also get matchups you would never see.
Yeah.
Right now, we've seen Randy Orton. Look out for that spider. See, when you mess with the mic, that's what happens. Please, I know you're watching, rewind and watch the look of terror on his face as that spider.
There was no terror on my face.
Oh yeah, there was. Here, let me get rid of that for you.
No, you made it move. Stop it. We're on TV. Will you go? Will you talk? Will you carry on?
Yes.
A professional like me would not have mentioned that happened.
So,
son of a.
You made it move. That's funny. Listen, here's the thing. You would have different matchups. You would have different baby faces and heels, good guys versus bad guys matches involved in that. Right now, we've seen Randy Orton face everybody on Team Punk. Right? We've seen Punk face everybody on Team Foley. There's nothing new that would make you want to tune in and buy. And let's not forget, it's Sheamus versus Big Show, which I think will be a great match. Now we're repeating last month's pay-per-view.
Yep.
In 2 matches.
Well, one thing that is surprising, though, going into the Survivor Series is it looks as if we're going to get a chance to see a feud, at least the beginnings of a feud, between Dolph Ziggler and CM Punk.
You think so?
I'm sorry, Dolph Ziggler and John Cena.
I was going to say, I don't know where that's coming from. You know what? And they need that, because if they're going to give Dolph Ziggler a world championship run, he needs to be in a program with John Cena to establish him. But, you know, I thought the same thing about Ryback beating CM Punk. And it's a great way of keeping CM Punk and John Cena separate. Right now,
admit you were wrong.
I was mistaken. Big difference, huge. But CM Punk and Cena have to be apart. Right now, you got Punk and Ryback, and you got Cena and Dolphy Z. Smart thing to do, considering the Rock's on the horizon.
Well, also, speaking of Cena, well, there was a little bit of a Hotel Motel Holiday Inn situation this past Monday night on Raw as Vicky Guerrero revealed her evidence of John Cena's inappropriate behavior with AJ Lee.
He's a young guy, single, lots of money. She's an attractive little girl. Well, woman. I mean, she looks like You know what I mean. That's a whole different scandal right there.
I thought this was well done this past Monday night.
Well, you know what?
It built the story, got Ziggler out there,
and it's got
AJ back on the roster.
It's also gotten AJ out of the general manager role, which they needed to do because it was not believable. It's only a matter of time before Vicky is out of that role as well, too.
Beth Phoenix fired this past Monday Night on Raw as well.
You know what? They're going to miss her. They're going to miss her a ton. You know, I've said for the longest time she's the best diva / knockout in the business today. She's an attractive, beautiful woman, and she can go. Great worker. And you know what? She's able to leave on her own terms. So good for her.
Sad news to report, unfortunately, related to WWE, as two of his siblings do work for that company. But just this past Thursday, Brad Armstrong was found dead in his home at the age of only 51 years old. WWE releasing a statement about that on their website as well. So obviously our thoughts and prayers and condolences go out to the family, the Armstrong family, and all the friends and fans of Brad Armstrong.
If you get the chance, YouTube Brad Armstrong, Georgia Championship Wrestling. He was one of the guys that got me hooked. One of the nicest guys. We got the opportunity to spend time with him in Atlanta in Sweet and Sexy. Hung out with us, talked wrestling, talked life. Super good guy, heart and soul, and prayers go out to the Armstrong family.
And still to come here on the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime, we bring you the latest TNA news, part 2 of our interview with Bobby Lashley, and we go in depth on the rebuilding of Randy Orton. All that and this week's Star of the Week. Still to come here on the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime on My 24 Milwaukee.
We will.
We will. We will. We will.
We will.
We will.
We will be counted. We will matter.
We will stand our ground.
We will be brave.
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 We will be heard. Heard.
We will.
We will.
We will.
We will organize.
We will.
Vote.
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 Vote. Vote.
We will.
Vote because we matter.
Because you matter.
We will vote.
Because we make a difference.
We will vote.
We will.
We will.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report. Primetime Saturday night. Damian Nelson sitting alongside David Hero. And David, it's time to go in depth. And our subject this week is Randy Orton. How do you build Randy Orton back? Randy Orton was once at the very top of the WWE roster, but now he is scrambling to just be relevant in the mid-card ranks. Why did this mega star, 6-time WWE and 9-time world champion, take such a dramatic fall from grace? You've got to think that Orton's reported behavioral problems have a lot to do with it. Randy Orton has been suspended from WWE at least 3 times. He was first suspended in 2006 for smoking cannabis backstage, but this was not considered a wellness policy violation at the time. Orton then listed in connection with the Signature Pharmacy scandal and was suspended after suffering an accidental overdose. That was a 60-day suspension. Randy Orton was then suspended again earlier this year for his second official wellness policy violation and thus missed the huge Raw 1000 in his hometown. Orton's problems didn't start, though, in WWE. He was actually imprisoned at Camp Pendleton in California after receiving a bad conduct discharge from the United States Marine Corps after going AWOL, absent without official leave. Even with all these problems, though, David, there is no doubting that Randy Orton is one of the greatest in-ring performers in the world today. The question remains, though, why is he saddled in the mid-card of WWE and not in higher-profile matches and storylines?
It's simple. It's because of everything you've just listed. They don't trust Randy Orton. They don't feel that they can invest any more time or money into making him the big star that he is, the big star that he has been. When you have that many red checks against you, how can you?
Yeah.
And you know, it's common knowledge that there are people in the corporate offices in Titan Towers that have had it with him. They're tired of his shenanigans. There's that word again. They're just sick and tired of it, and they'd be more than happy to see him leave. But the fact of the matter is, Randy Orton sells T-shirts. He sells action figures. He's one of the most popular guys. If you're going to rebuild Randy Orton, there's only one thing you can do. You got to turn him into the bad guy. Let him punt. You got to let him punt people in the head, RKO, whoever. Right now, just listen. The people that cheer him now are still going to cheer him as a bad guy. The women that cheer him now are still going to cheer him as the evil Viper. The kids, they have other ones that they can cheer for. And you know what, let's face it, the guys, as much as they like Randy Orton, they don't want to cheer for him as a good guy. They would much rather have him be the Viper as opposed to Randy Orton.
Is Randy Orton being punished as well as being not trusted? Being the fact that he's made it quite clear he doesn't like playing this babyface role. He doesn't like being a good guy. He'd rather be a heel. So how better to punish him than to have him in that role?
Is he being punished, or is this just the square peg that fits in the round circle right now? You know, I mean, what else? Listen, what else can they do with him? They can't elevate him right now, because you know what? You have to make him earn the respect and the trust back. And until you get there, you're stuck at mid-card.
I've got the answer. Are you ready for the answer?
I would.
Are you ready for this?
Are you going to change it next week?
Are you sitting down? No, you can go back in the tapes at least the last 2-3 years, and I've been saying the same thing all the time.
Do not say he's not a true babyface.
Here's the answer. Survivor Series, 3 weeks, pay-per-view. He turns on Team Foley. He aligns himself with Punk and Heyman.
I think
he becomes a Paul Heyman guy.
I would love to see it.
Because he's got a good heel turn in him.
Oh, of course. Can you imagine Randy Orton and CM Punk and Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar?
That's power.
That would, you know what? That changes the whole dynamic of Monday Night Raw.
Yeah,
now you almost have someone to be in fear of. You have the master manipulator in Heyman and Punk. You have Randy Orton, who's just like, he's the sniper. You know what I mean?
He's a prick.
He's Deadshot. He's the guy that's just going to go out there and just shoot somebody in the head. And then you got Brock Lesnar that's just going to kill you.
Right.
Damian Nelson, that may be the single most amazing thing you have said in the last, how old are you, 40 years?
Well, unless I was speaking in the womb, no.
Well, you're always speaking.
Should I return that call to Sanford? Was that a good enough idea? Do you think I should use that as my,
yes.
my portfolio?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Randy Orton. Will they begin to trust him again? Because, well, he is just fresh back off of his latest.
It is the world of pro wrestling. It is a place where they have brought Sable back. Okay? It is the place where they've brought back the Road Warriors after they've walked out.
Bret Hart.
Eric Bischoff. I mean, anything is possible. If it makes money, it's dollars and cents. If it makes dollars, it makes sense.
Don't you have to give Vince McMahon credit for that?
Of course, he rolls the dice.
He swallows his pride so often.
You know what? He makes everyone jump through hoops. He doesn't so much swallow his pride.
Don't have to make it easy.
Oh, no, of course not. But believe me, Vince does not swallow his pride. If he can make money, it just fattens his wallet.
One guy he could potentially still make money on right now, if he chose to still be in the WWE ranks, would be Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley, a person who we brought you part 1 of an interview with right here on this very program last week. Well, David Hero, Bobby had a little bit more to say, and let's go to the final moments of that interview now. Bobby Lashley joining us here again on the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time.
You know what I will say, though, is true. We, as fans, did not get enough of Bobby Lashley WWE. It was a short time you were there. It was a big time that you were there. You left under your own terms. You chose to leave. Do you miss it?
I'll see it.
Not just Donald Trump's money that you were, that you may or may not have taken on the way out of WrestleMania 23.
I missed it because I'm a people person.
Yeah.
Like right now, what I'm doing right now, I'm working with kids, and I do a lot of charity work. I just like being around people.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think when I left, some of the speculations were that I got angry and started running around cussing and everything like that. I was like, come on, man, that's not even my personality.
Right.
I'm not that person. I'm never that person. So to be able to say that and convince people to believe that, I think that's ridiculous. But I do enjoy or miss being part of being in front of fans, whether it's on WWE, whether it's fighting today. I don't care what it is. You know, I miss that. So that's why I continue to train. I continue to keep myself ready so that when the time is ready, I will be ready.
Well, I mean, clearly, you're almost as big as me now. Good job. You're working out. Where are these gyms located that you own?
I have two. I have one in Aurora, Colorado, and then I opened up another one in Colorado Springs. Mainly in Colorado Springs, where it's mainly fighters, and then in Aurora, that's the big gym that I have. I do a lot of stuff with kids. I mean, that's my main program. We have a huge boxing program, jiu-jitsu, but also everything else. So we do everything from Zumba, strength conditioning, jiu-jitsu, everything.
What are the names of the gyms?
American Top Team. So ATT Altitude in Denver, and then ATT Prime in Colorado Springs.
Excellent. You looking for partners? I'm looking for investment opportunities. That's a no.
About that. We'll talk about that outside.
Bobby Lashley, great meeting you, great talking to you.
Yeah, thanks.
Best of luck to you and everything, and thank you for joining us here on the Pro Wrestling Report. Appreciate it. Bobby Lashley, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Bobby Lashley, former ECW champion, WrestleMania headliner. Great guy, Bobby Lashley.
You know what?
He too thought Punk was going to win, by the way.
You know what? We did, and you know what?
He had that conversation.
Bobby Lashley and we talked about it. I picked Ryback. He thought I was absolutely nuts. Couldn't believe it.
A couple others.
You know, it doesn't matter. I am paid to give my opinion.
You're not paid to be mistaken.
Well, no, but I really wasn't.
I'd gladly pay you to be wrong.
Listen, the fact of the matter is this.
Can't afford that.
They had no idea how they're going to have that match go.
Still to come on the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time, we bring you the latest TNA news and this week's Star of the Week. Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time on My24 Milwaukee continues right after this very short timeout. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Saturday night. This guy is sitting next to that guy, and it's time to talk about TNA news. And big news coming out of, well, at least the major star in TNA right now, that being Hulk Hogan, as he settled his lawsuit against his dear close personal friend, Bubba the Love Sponge. Now, for those of you that don't know, Hulk Hogan performed in a little video, doing some ditty, and the ditty was with Bubba's wife. And Hogan then contacted the FBI, contacted lawyers. He's suing Gawker.com. He's suing Bubba. Well, he and Bubba has settled. And this question I would not have ever thought about if not brought up by Robin Quivers on the Howard Stern show. Was this all a stunt? Was this a, as you would say, David Hero, a work? In your opinion. Now, wait a minute. Whoa. You know Bubba. You know Todd Clem.
I had nothing to do with it.
Well, there could be video, so you might want to search the annals of time.
I've never slept with his wife.
Oh, yeah, I asked you if you slept there.
You know, I mean, it's pro wrestling. It's all, you would think it's all work. Two best friends, all of a sudden this happens, shenanigans back and forth, $100 million, settlement out of court. By not saying anything is saying everything. Listen, growing up, I was a Hulkamaniac.
Brother.
Train, say your prayers, eat your vitamins. But boy, oh boy, I tell you, it's just, you know what they say, if it looks like a duck, it walks like a duck.
I didn't see the whole video, so I don't know what it looked like.
It's a duck. And I hope it's not. But
Bubba apologized for the comments that he made about Hogan and Hogan's family.
That's the thing that doesn't make any sense. How quick he apologized. If he did nothing wrong, why is he apologizing?
I'm pretty sure the settlement included this statement that was released by Bubba.
But if it doesn't mean anything, what good is it?
Come on,
he
everything's a
vehemently
work,
denied
David
it.
Hero.
Believe me, I know.
No, American Idol's fixed, right?
Really?
Seen it with my own eyes. It's a secret society.
You were there?
I've been to an American Idol event, yes.
See, I thought you were on Flavor of Love.
It's Flavor of Love, and no, I have not been.
Ah, gotcha. Flavor.
Speaking of love, Kurt Angle has accused WWE of taking ideas from TNA on Twitter. Yes, indeed. Kurt Angle has accused WWE of taking ideas from TNA on Twitter. In case it's not obvious to you.
Like the whole AJ Love gimmick?
Well, let me quote what he said on Twitter. I'm sure you saw it, because it was a tweet. Staged affair between AJ Lee and @John Cena with date pic and hotel video. WWE outright lifting TNA concepts. Kurt Angle would later delete those posts. Here's what I'll say about that. Now, you could say that's like when, you know, people are saying that their comedy bits get stolen or whatever. If you go back, and you owe yourself this as a fan, if you go back and watch the Rise and Fall of ECW DVD, you'll find just about everything that has happened in WWE, WCW, and TNA since 2002 had happened already in ECW. Everybody steals from everybody. I mean, that's just the way it is. But
whoa, you steal?
Kurt Angle, for Kurt Angle to say this,
thieving
on Twitter, and to put that out there, I mean, I guess there is some basis to it.
The funny thing is you have two AJs involved. How many AJs do you know? They're both in the world of wrestling, and they're both involved in the same type of angle.
You get AJ McLean from the Backstreet Boys.
You know, you have John Cena, who plays the role of Dixie Carter, and then you have the two
AJ
AJs.
Hammer from MS Headline News.
Okay, fine. So now there's 4. Okay, but Kurt Angle's not wrong.
He's not wrong at all.
You know?
What is he mistaken is the question, I guess.
No, he's being honest.
Scott Steiner is being honest as he continues to pursue his countersuit that he has filed with TNA Impact Wrestling.
Why wouldn't he?
TNA,
what else is he going to do?
TNA sued Scott Steiner for some comments he made, very malicious comments that he made over the course of several weeks on Twitter. Now, Scott Steiner is citing the lack of royalty payments and their failure to provide an accounting of said royalties.
Oh,
now,
you knew that was coming.
Well, because
how many times have we heard that conversation in the past? Right?
Not from Scott Steiner either.
No, we've heard that conversation that we're going to see what's really going on here. We're going to open the books in TNA, and this is exactly what TNA does not need right now, considering their lawsuit.
Open the book in TNA, it's a leaflet. TNA alleged breach. TNA is saying that he had 30 days to contact them, or to contact them first. He should have done, and then they would have had 30 days to repair it. He did not contact them, so they're saying it should be thrown out. Well, that trial occurring down in Tennessee has been pushed back to November 30th.
Good for them.
Who's going to win?
Scott Steiner. Absolutely.
For all of the details on this past Thursday's Impact Wrestling, go to the power team of Meathead and Matthew Thomas, who brings you 1 hour of post-show for Impact each and every week. That can be found at our website, pwrshow.com, online radio show, Blog Talk Radio.
You know there's going to be some former TNA stars coming to Milwaukee soon.
Is that right?
Absolutely.
December 1st?
December 1st, Robbie E., Al Snow.
Where can you go?
And go to blizzardbrawl.com, and right now the meet and greet guests, if you get a meet and greet ticket, will include Terry Reynolds, formerly known as Marlena, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and Big Sexy Kevin Nash.
Big Sexy.
Big Sexy. You're a good, close personal friend.
He's a member of the Nelson family.
Well, because you paid a lot of money for that.
How much for the plastic surgery, brother? How much for the plastic surgery, brother? It's time now to go to this week's Star of the Week. David Hero, take it away.
This week's PWR Star of the Week. You know, there's so much going on in the world of wrestling. Do you go with Ryback, who, by the way,
you were wrong about? Yeah.
I was wrong. Hell in the Cell. When you saw him give CM Punk the shell shock, did you think he was going to go through the cage?
No, not at all.
Really? No. I thought so. I left it
that
out.
Would have killed him.
Listen, I left this week's PWR Star of the Week out there to the Twitterverse, and they have decided to go with Beth Phoenix.
Really?
Absolutely.
The Glamazon.
The Glamazon. She did her job. She beat AJ Lee. She was the victim of a hidden agenda and circumstance. On her way out, my favorite diva, wishing her the best in all of her future endeavors. This week's PWR Star of the Week, Beth Phoenix.
Well, that's actually, I'll certify that.
Well, yeah, because if you don't, she will beat you up.
That's this week's
Some
Star of the
people
Week.
pay a lot of money for that.
Continuing here in this program in
cricket.
just a moment is PWR Extra, where we talk about and going a little bit into detail on WWE's business results released on Thursday, including news on the WWE Network and how that's going to launch.
We're doing Extra now online after
We'll do
this?
Extra, yeah, after this. We'll give more. It'll be 5 minutes tops. It'll be fine.
Okay.
You know, we joke about a lot of things on this program from time to time, but there is no joking around when it comes to the importance of voting on Tuesday. Each of you has a chance to shape the future of our country, and it is a responsibility that should not be taken lightly. Your vote will determine who will lead this country for the next 4 years and ultimately decide the direction for all of us. I'm not asking you to vote for one candidate over the other, but I'm asking you to vote based on the facts while ignoring the attacks and lies spread during the campaigns. Do your own research and vote for the candidate that you think is best to lead our country going the next 4 years. Never be afraid of your responsibility to vote, and never think that your vote does not matter. Every vote counts, and every voice should be heard, including yours, David.
Well, remember, the write-in is HERRO.
Join the PWR team in doing the right thing by voting on Tuesday, November 6th. Don't make not voting something you will regret. So head on out to the polls on Tuesday and vote for whomever you choose. Can I share with everybody? Ron Paul is not running anymore.
I'm writing in my own name. I think
that's this week's edition, ladies and gentlemen, of the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Television.
The First Lady.
I just got terrified at the mere thought of you anywhere near the White House.
I've been to the White House.
Not inside.
Imagine my foreign policy.
PWR Extra continues after the right now online at pwrshow.com. David Harold, what would your foreign policy be?
You know, I've been around the world a few times.
And WWE released some results of their business for the first 9 months of the year and the last quarter specifically, the last 3 months of the year. And within that, we found out that WWE Network is going to be launching on a subscription-based basis, similar to that of HBO, Showtime, Cinemax, especially on Friday nights,
right.
All similar to what WWE is going to be doing. Now, they've had this WWE Classics on Demands thing, which is $10 a month or whatever. Given the fact that it will be a pay channel, what do you think the chances are of this network succeeding?
I think it's going to do great. If they're smart, they make it a paid channel, and they also include their pay-per-views on it with it as well. Hey, listen, they couldn't find a network to find a home. They created their own right now, and they're going to make money doing it.
Here's what's funny. Oprah's got a network, golf has a network, tennis has a network, outdoors has a network. There are all kinds of networks out there.
But they're free. They're not subscription.
Right, that's what WWE was trying to do. They were trying to make this free. They couldn't get the clearance.
Right. But people have paid for Cinemax and Showtime, and HBO and all the other kind of stuff. They will pay, what is it, $9 a month?
Something like that.
It can't be much more than that.
For WWE Network?
Yeah.
No, pricing and date have not yet been announced.
And it's going to do great. If anything, it'll do great the first 6 months, and then people will drop off eventually. But you know what? Good for them. They need this.
It's a revenue stream. Solid revenue stream.
It's going to be a huge one because they already have all the inventory. They have all the product they could possibly want.
And they've already invested tens of millions of dollars in this network that they are launching.
You know what? I will probably, even though I feel I watch too much wrestling as it is, I will order it just to watch some of the legendary stuff.
That's exactly it. And that's so much different and so much better. I got the urge to watch Ric Flair back in 1998. Remember when the Horsemen got back together on Nitro? One of the best promos.
Fire me, I'm already fired?
Yeah, one of the best things ever happened on wrestling television. And just don't hold your breath thinking you're getting anything near good as that nowadays, not just because Ric Flair's not necessarily around, but
oh, he's around.
To be able to watch shows that feature that kind of stuff and go back to the good old days, if you will, of wrestling, which obviously predate that and many happened after that, is really the sticking point and I think the selling point of the WWE Network.
Listen, if you get the opportunity to go back and watch the Heenan family and the Hart Foundation and Bruno Sammartino and Pedro Morales, even to the UWF Bill Watts days with Ted DiBiase and the
Don't
One-Man
forget Smoky
Gang.
Mountain Wrestling.
Smoky Mountain, the AWA with Vern Gagne and the Crusher, Georgia Championship Wrestling, Mid-Atlantic. Oh, good God,
Great
there's
stuff.
some good stuff.
Just great stuff.
And then that back then is what wrestling was truly about. That's where it would take 6 months to a year for a storyline to truly develop and have the payoff, not all done in between pay-per-views.
Yep. If you're ever curious, though, to look at where WWE makes its money, you might be surprised. And you look at, the $370 million or so WWE has made in the first 9 months of the year, or actually the revenue that they've brought in. That's not the profit that they've made. Some interesting details of where they come from. The television, Raw, the main event, Saturday Morning Slam, SmackDown, all the television product that they do each week is their top revenue source, with some $100 million, just under $100 million they've brought in as far as revenues go. Now, if you don't know, the television networks pay WWE for this programming. Basically, they buy the programming for WWE, and WWE either gets some or none or all of the advertising.
Now, is this after expenses are paid or what they take in?
This is just revenue. This is the money paid in.
Gotcha.
Now, what would you think would be number 2, David Hero? Because I would have thought it would have been pay-per-view revenues, but it's not. It's actually live events. Some $81 million they made off of live events.
$81 million on live events.
The first 9 months this year.
That's a lot of international live events. That's not domestic.
But third, as I said, pay-per-view revenue, some $71 million. And
now, hold on a
everything else
second.
falls
How
into
much did
place after that.
WrestleMania make this year?
WrestleMania?
Yeah.
I can get that specific number. I believe it contributed about $28 million to that pay-per-view.
Okay.
amount.
So you take out $28 million. That now leaves you with $43 million. That's a big jump.
What do you mean?
Well, if WrestleMania with Rock and Cena took in $20 million, that's almost a third.
Well, WrestleMania is always the cash cow, which is why I believe their fiscal year ends with WrestleMania. Their WWE business year ends with WrestleMania. Money in the Bank pay-per-view got about 188,000 pay-per-views last year, 195,000 pay-per-view buys. SummerSlam actually did great this year. 358,000 buys this year, David Hero, compared to 269,000 buys last year.
Yeah, because you had Triple H and Brock Lesnar.
Oh, there's money there.
Brock Lesnar, almost 100,000 more buys.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's some information on the numbers from WWE Home video and licensing and digital media, up 17%, by the way.
How about the merchandise?
Merchandise?
Yeah, how many T-shirts did they sell?
I don't know specifically exactly how many
T-shirts. You got a roundabout. You got this little gimmicky tablet thing over here.
It's called a laptop computer.
Oh.
Venue merchandise, they separated out from the actual online sales and whatnot. $15 million in venue merchandise. What are you doing?
I'm doing the math. So
WWE.com merchandise or sales from WWE.com totaled $8.9 million.
Okay. So they did $28 million in merchandise, in T-shirts and hats. That doesn't even cover Linda's expenses for her Senate campaign, does it?
That comes out of her own pocket.
That is her own pocket.
How is? Well, I guess it is.
Right?
Her valuation comes from the shares that she holds, yes, but her...
John Cena has accounted for 1/2 of her campaign contributions.
What if she loses again?
Then she needs to quit.
Where does that money go?
To everybody but us. Wouldn't it be great to say, hey, I'm going to spend $60 million and lose?
I think at that point, it's time to be done. I think at that point,
I stop at $600. Are you kidding me? That's ridiculous.
Well, how many dances is that?
Carry the 4. 20?
Oh my, oh my. Here's the thing, you look at these numbers, they're quite staggering for WWE. They've made almost $400 million in revenue, not necessarily profit so far this year. WWE doing well. You got to wonder what the non-publicly disclosed TNA business results are. And you can't compare the two, obviously, but Dixie Carter continues to say TNA is profitable.
Here's how you compare the two. You watch the WWE Hall of Fame, and let's go back to WrestleMania 20, when it was in a hotel ballroom.
You were there at the Marriott Marquis in Times Square.
At a hotel ballroom, as opposed to TNA's Impact Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Now, no, come on. If you're comparing apples to apples that way.
That's a fair assessment. Because that was the first Hall of Fame they've done in a considerably long time where it was open to the general public. Correct?
Yeah.
And this was TNA's first Hall of Fame.
Bob's your uncle.
Who?
Bob.
Okay.
Dole.
Pineapple guy?
That's this week's edition of the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime, ladies and gentlemen. We are done, yes.
Okay, well, good.
For that one, this is Damian Nelson saying thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you again next week.